So I am back, and as you guys can see, we're back outside. We're back outside. It feels so good to be out here. I don't know why I stayed inside for too long. I should have been came back outside, but it's a beautiful night. There's like three different parties going on. There's some Spanish music over here, some old school R&B, and then there's some Caribbean music over there. If this video gets copyrighted, we're back inside. But for now, we outside. Today's video, I wanted to talk about how following my own path has gotten me way further in life. Um, this is like a more of a motivational type of thing, more of a trying to convince you all, whoever's watching this, who may want to do the same thing I'm doing, to follow your own path, not to listen to people, because I believe that at the end of the day, people don't know what's best for you. And where I'm at right now in my life, like where I've reached, I would say I've made some pretty good progress in my life. And along the way, each single step that I took to get here, there was always somebody telling me, "Hey, you shouldn't do this, dude. That's gonna mess you up, bro. You're gonna fail. This and the other." Shush, shush. That's all yap, 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 yap. In my ear, that's all yap, 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 yap. Um, let's start with what's it called? Let's start like even things in high school. I played a lot of sports in high school, and I remember I played lacrosse. You guys are probably like, what is a African kid doing playing lacrosse? Because it's looked at as a white sport. But I was cooking people. I was cooking people. These legs, what? Ever since I was like in elementary school, I've been like the fastest kid in on a recess. And then you get to middle school, you have a lot more competition, and you're not the best. But in high school, I played a lot of different sports. I remember even my freshman year going into soccer. A lot of my friends at the time were also going into soccer. I had like a Ghanaian friend, a Bengali friend, and like two Spanish friends, and then some other Asian kid. I forget where he was from, but a lot of them already had in their mind that they're gonna go and play JV. JV is junior varsity. Varsity is the main team that actually gets recognized. What's it called, in their games competing against other schools. So junior varsity is like the second team that goes on if somebody gets injured or they just play a second game after the main game. And people really don't care about the JV teams. But I remember vividly a lot of my friends that I was going into with, they had mentally already decided that they're going to be on the JV team because they didn't think that they could make it on the varsity. I'm over here going extra hard at practice. I'm doing like extra sprints. I'm doing everything I can to land on that varsity team. And I'm a freshman. I'm like first year in high school. Come first game of the season, the coach is looking because like there's only 9 people on the field or something, and he needs one more person on the field. And he looks at the whole bench and everything, and he goes, "Jimmy, get on." All my friends looked at me like, "What?" Because in their head, they're thinking like they're not going to play varsity until they get to like 11th, 12th grade, this and the other. So that was the first time I started realizing for myself, I'm like, if I set a goal for myself, it's for me. If I think I can make it on varsity, I'm going to make it on varsity. Fast forward, senior year, I'm playing lacrosse. What's it called? There's records within the school. There's usually records of like who scored the most goals, who's done this, who's done that. I remember my 11th grade year, somebody on our team broke the school record with 35 goals that they scored that year for lacrosse. I come in my senior year, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna break it." The same crew that I came into high school with and we were playing soccer, they're also there like, "Dude, we're already halfway through the season. You only have, what's it called? You only have like 8 goals. Do you actually think you're gonna make it to 35?" Just like that, I broke the school record. And again, shh, just shh. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So in high school, it was like more simple things of following your own path, thinking you can do it, and not listening to people. Get to college, right? As you guys know, I dropped out of college. When I was making that decision to leave college, if I can tell you, that was probably the most stressful, the most unsure, the most scary time of my life because at that time, I'm 18. What does an 18-year-old know, right? You have all these adults around you. I'm talking about grown adults, people that you know, whether you call them uncle, this and the other, or there's somebody you grew up with who you look up to. I had a lot of people around me telling me like, dude, you just messed up your, like, you're gonna mess up your life. You need to go back to school. You're gonna fail. You're gonna regret this decision so bad. And when I tell you, that was probably the first time in my life where I truly, truly said, if you are not encouraging me to pursue my path, if you are not encouraging me or trying to help me to, what's it called, to fulfill my goals, I'm gonna just shut you out. I don't care if you're my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my best friend. I don't care who you are. If you are not here to help me figure this crap out, please shush. Like, don't talk to me. So I make the personal decision to drop out of school because I'm thinking, like, at this point in my life, I've seen what I can accomplish. Right, I've done quite a few things. I was also prom king. That's probably a video for another day. I was prom king in high school. Even going for that, there were people who were like, "Yo, do you really think you're gonna, what's it called? People are gonna vote you for prom king, this and the other?" Because I was a popular kid, but I wasn't popular in the sense of like a douche or like a mean kid. I was captain on most of my sports teams. I had broken school records. I was doing a lot of different things. And then I'm going to run for, for prom king. And people are like, don't do that, bro. You're going to embarrass yourself, this and the other. I won. Shh. Again, shh. So back to college. When I make the decision to drop out, all these people are telling me, yo, bro, you're going to mess up your life. You've already messed up your life. You need to go back. And I told you guys, I made that decision in my head. I'm like, if you're not encouraging me, please shush. I don't care who you are. It definitely, got in between me and my parents' relationship because at that time, they're an adult. They want their kid to succeed. And this is where maturity comes in, right? Because at that young age, you're so full of yourself. You're so like, you think you can do anything you put your mind to. And these people are doubting you. Meanwhile, your parents want the best for you, right? No African parent is gonna be like, oh yes, drop out. No. It's like African parents are pretty strict on school, college, go this, go become an engineer, go become a doctor, go become this. All of that stuff, I was hearing it. But this is where I started to mature in my thinking, because to me at the time, it was like, okay, prove everyone wrong, this and the other. Like, shove it in their face. I'm doing this, so down the road, all the people who said they doubted me, you can, you can suck it. You can go, you can do whatever you want to do, but I don't care what you say. I'm going to prove you wrong just to show it to you that I was right. But I drop out. I lose friends. Imagine that. I lose friends. People decided to cut ties with me because I made a personal decision. That's when I really opened my eyes. And I was like, no matter what you do, somebody's going to have an opinion. It doesn't matter if it's a personal decision that doesn't affect them. To me, I couldn't understand how somebody can decide, I no longer want to be associated with you because you chose to not finish college. But that was like a fire under me. It was like a, wow, okay, cool. Stay over there. Just watch the process. I drop out. I start working at Amazon. When I'm working at Amazon, people are also still telling me, like, look, these are the type of jobs you're gonna be working forever. This is like, you better be prepared for this to be your life. All that, and at this point, I am so locked in. I am so on my goal. I am so like focused on my path that it's like work, home, study, workout, work, home, study, workout, work, home, study, workout. And at that point, I'm not talking to my parents. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just ignoring people, and I'm on my path. Before my class graduated college, I would have been class of 2021. That's when I would have graduated college. I became an engineer before my class graduated. Can you imagine the shame that people felt talking about, oh, you're gonna fail, you just ruined your life? And for me, by the time I reached that point where I'm becoming an engineer, and I was working as an engineer, making the same money as every other person with a degree, and at this point, I've already matured. I've proven to myself. That's where I truly matured. When I realized everything I do is not to prove anyone wrong. At this point, I don't care to say, oh, I told you so, to my mother, to my father, to anyone. At this point, it's truly just, Jimmy, if you think you can do it, prove to yourself you can do it. I get the job, and even then when I got that job, I lost friends then. I lost friends because they were the same people who were telling me, bro, you're going to fail. You ruined your life. And now they're still in college and I'm already making software engineer money while they're still in school. If you guys can understand the type of shame that somebody would have, like to boldly speak at you, telling you you're gonna fail, and then you surpass them, it was a lot of that. It was a lot of that. But at this point, I had proven to myself. Like at this point, I had done so many things in my life that I proved to myself like I know what I'm doing. That I didn't care to go and tell my mom or my dad or this, that, and the other, like, oh look, I did it. No, I didn't care. At this point, it was just like, you've done it, next goal. You've done it, next goal. Even let's rewind a little bit. When I was in college is when I got into crypto, right? There was something that happened in college that also influenced me leaving college, right? And I needed a lot of money. I got into crypto because I needed to get out of this trouble that I had gotten myself into. And I needed the money from that. Luckily, my brother had faith in me. He let me sell his car, his Mustang, because I was using it as like a car when I was using it for my transport to get to work and stuff when I dropped out. And no, when I was in college. And then he was like, look, I don't need the car. I'm out here. My brother was trucking at the time. He was on the road. He told me you could sell my car, get yourself out of the trouble. But I sold his car, put that money in crypto, sold it. I made money in crypto. And then I got myself out the trouble. But even when I got into crypto, there was so many people who were telling me, bro, you're so dumb for putting your money into this. Like, you're gonna lose every penny. There's people who were telling me in 2017, you're gonna lose every single penny. You're wasting your money. Don't even bother doing this. And when I tell you, thank God I didn't listen to anyone. Thank God I followed my own path, my own heart, my own understanding, my own research. I had done enough research into crypto. Why would I listen to some random who's never invested a dollar of their money into even a stock or anything? So I said, I'm going to do my own thing. By the time we reached 2021 or 2022, no, before we even get to 2022, what I had invested in college, I had the potential to make $250,000 that time. Like literally, I had bought the crypto, and this is my first time investing. I'm not used to seeing my money go up and down. So I panicked and I sold what I had invested in. Imagine I did like 3 weeks of research on a certain crypto, and I was like, this is it. And then as soon as things start dropping, I'm telling you, I said sell, sell, sell. 3 weeks later, the market peaks. And if I would have held on to what I had at that time, this is 2017, the first time crypto went crazy. If I would have held on to what I had, what I had invested in, I would have made $250,000 in 2017. So by that point, I had proven to myself, I'm like, you got this, bro. Like, everyone told you you're stupid. Everyone told you you're wasting your money, and you almost just made $250,000. You almost just made $250,000. This was at 19, maybe, yeah, 18 or 19. I was 18 years old in college. I had turned 19. So I was 18 or 19 years old. Imagine that. You're 18, you're 19. Everyone's already told you you're messing up your life, this and the other. You've already put your money in crypto, and then you almost make $250,000. Fast forward, 2021, I think that was his second bull run. At this point, I'm already working as an engineer. I've dropped out, right? I've done all these things. People have told me you're going to fail. People have told me you're going to lose your money. I already know in my head that, I almost made $250,000 just a few years ago. So 2021, with my tech money, I start putting more and more money into crypto. That year, was it 2021? I can't remember. That year, as an engineer, I made more money in my crypto than I did in my job as a software engineer. So you guys can only imagine the inflated self-ego that I had at that time of like, bro, what? I always made $250,000, and then 2021, I do it again, to where this time, instead of panic selling, I actually held on to the crypto. I actually held on to it, and I watched my account hit a certain number. I'm gonna make that another video, one of these in the upcoming days. I'm gonna probably give you guys a video explaining the most money I've seen in crypto. But I made a bunch of money numbers that I don't understand. I remember running downstairs and I showed my mom like my account, what it had done in 24 hours. I said, Mom, look what I just made in the last 24 hours. It was like $22,300 if I can remember correctly. Don't quote me, but it was like $21,000 or $22,000 that I had made in 24 hours. My mom jaw dropped. Her jaw dropped because in her head she's like, huh? She's never seen that type of money in like at once, right? She's never thought in her head as a foreigner who brought kids here, right, that you would see that type of money. When I tell you, I went to like a barbecue the next weekend. There's random aunties and uncles coming up to me like, yo, Jimmy, what's it called? We need to sit down. Jimmy, come, let's sit down. Let's talk. Let's talk. In my head, I'm like, why do we need to talk? I came to realize my mom went bragging. My mom went bragging to some of her friends and some of the people. And these people are now coming to me and they're like, Jimmy, let's sit down. Let's talk. The same people who told me I had messed up my life for dropping out are now coming to say, let's talk, because they hear Jimmy's making a lot of money in this investing stuff. Keep in mind, this is 2021. The older Kenyan parents don't know what crypto is, even till now. There's probably a bunch of Kenyan parents who don't know what crypto is. So in their head, they're just like, huh? I remember even my mom asked me, she was like, Jimmy, please tell me you're not selling drugs. My mom was scared because in her head, she couldn't understand how somebody my age, I'm 21, 22 years old, can touch $20,000 in a 24 hours. I hadn't even showed her the full account. All she saw was 20,000 in a day. She didn't even know that this boy is sitting on like 100 something, close to 200 something at the time. It was crazy. I had proven to myself so many different things. And at this point, I'm walking around. I'm like, yo, can't nobody tell me crap. Nobody can tell me sheesh. Bro, what? I could buy you. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. Like, I had matured to the point where at this point, I don't care about proving to people. I don't care about telling someone, look, shut up, I showed you wrong. Like, I don't care about that anymore. At this point, I'm so locked in on my path that it's just like me. Jimmy, what do you want to do? Focus on you. Jimmy, what do you want to do? Focus on you. Don't listen to anybody. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like, I wish you guys can understand the amount of people who have tried to discourage me along every single step of the way. Even on this path going back to Kenya, there's people who are watching this and they're like, this guy's lying. You know what? To prove to y'all that I'm not some BSer, because I hate internet people who come and try to like sell you some fairy tale or some lie that they're making a bunch of money. I was on KTN. I'm probably gonna make that video tomorrow or one of these days. The time I was on KTN, I made it onto Kenyan television, Kenyan News Network, talking about crypto. So I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna link it in the below in the description tomorrow or something, just so you guys can understand I'm not some BSer. I'm not somebody coming to the internet trying to sell some fake life or some fake lie that I don't really live. No, I've done this crap. I've done it. But you know what? Let people watch. Let people watch. Realistically, I don't know if I'm gonna reach where I had reached before, because I made some stupid trades recently, like in the last few months. I made some silly trades. No, not even the last few months, the last few weeks. So I don't know if I'll reach where I had reached back then, but we're still on this path of going to Kenya. And along the way, all these people who had told me you're gonna mess up, you're gonna lose your money, I didn't care. I did not care, because at 21, seeing over six figures in your investment account, you don't believe it. But at the time, I had no plans. Thank God I didn't cash out then and spend my money, because I had no real plans. If I would have spent my money when I was 21, I'm telling you guys, I would be broke right now. All that money would have been gone, completely gone, because I had no plans. And at the time, I'm worried about, I'm worried about showing people that I got it like that, because you're coming up, you're a young man. At that age, you have nothing to your name but you have nothing but your name. You have nothing to show for but your name. Most 21-year-olds don't have crap, right? At that time, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I'm thinking about flexing to people. I wanted to go show it off online, but thank God I didn't. Thank God I didn't. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Okay, let me move on. So I did the crypto thing in 2017. and I almost made the money, but I didn't make it. 2021, I actually made it, but I watched the account come all the way back down and I wrote it out, right? We are now in the next bull market where I'm expecting crypto to go again. This is try number 3. So, try number 3, I'm now 26. From 17 years old to 26, right? We're in the third bull run that I've been in. I'm like, we can't miss this again. These crypto cycles come every 4 years, right? So if I'm to miss this cycle, the next time this could happen in my life, I'll probably be 30 years old, right? So now we're here, and let's rewind to 2022. That's when I moved to New York. When I was moving to New York, a bunch of people told me, "Yo, Jimmy, don't do that. You're gonna regret it. Like you're wasting your money moving to that city. You're gonna fail. What's it called? You're gonna be right back in Delaware. I grew up in Delaware. Now I don't know why I've been even keeping that a secret. I grew up in Delaware, right? That's like 2 hours south of New York City. But there's people who were telling me, Jimmy, you're gonna be right back in Delaware. You're wasting your money in that city. I'm telling you, thank God I moved to New York and got out my environment that I was in, because I've grown so much. Like, being surrounded by the same people you came up with, they still see you as the person you were. Those people who grew up with me and were still in Delaware, they know you from where they knew you from. Like, they don't see who you are now. They still have a memory of who you were. So moving to this city opened my eyes. I've grown so much. This city has taught me so much. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna be back in this city sometime in the future to buy myself like a condo. I've always told myself I want a place in New York. Whether I come back when I'm 35, 40 or something, when I got it like that, I'm gonna make sure I have a place here in New York City. But people try to discourage me from even moving to New York. In this city, if it wasn't for this city, I don't think I would have grown in my confidence as I have it right now, to be able to come and make YouTube videos and talk freely, this and the other. This city taught me that. I said this city. This city taught me that. Not in the sense that I wasn't confident before. I've always been a confident kid. But a city like New York, everyone is the main character. Everyone thinks that they're hot Cheetos. Everyone thinks that they're the next biggest thing, right? So you learn to develop your personality. You learn to find who you are. Like, people here are so stylish. Let's talk about something like even just like clothing and dressing. The way I would dress like a bum all the time in Delaware, you come to New York, you go to the deli, somebody's dressed up like they're going down a freaking fashion runway. Now, you do still have a majority of people who dress casual, but this city teaches you to find yourself. It teaches you to know who you are, because everyone knows who they are. Everyone out here knows their opinions. They have their opinions. They have their beliefs. They know what they stand on. They know what they don't stand on. Like, this city has taught me so much. So I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Along my whole journey, till you guys are sitting here watching this random guy on the internet called Jimmy, I've trusted myself. I've followed my path, right? Even on this path, people think that if I come back to the US to get another job and finish what I started in Kenya, I failed. I laugh because I'm still on my path. Even if the path has to take a detour, you have to take a step, I'm still on my path, right? So there's people who are watching who are probably like, man, this dude's gonna be right back in the US in 2 days. And if I am, who cares if I am? It's my path. Like, that's the point. Up to this point in my life, I've not listened to people. I've not followed people's opinions. I've ignored what people thought of me. I said thunk. I've ignored what people think of me. And thank God I did all that, because I would not be here. I would not have moved to New York. I would not have gotten into crypto. I would not have dropped out of college. And if I didn't drop out of college, I would probably not have became the engineer that I wanted to. Because when I was in college, I was in college to become an architect. I've always loved architecture. That's probably why I'm more leaning towards real estate and stuff in Kenya. But if it wasn't for me trusting in myself and my path and my heart, I would not be here. You guys would not be looking at Jimmy. Now, not everyone has the same drive as me. I'm gonna be cocky right now. Not everyone has the same drive as me. If I'm talking to an 18-year-old right now who wants to drop out, am I gonna encourage them to drop out? Probably not. I'm gonna probably try to understand from them, why do you want to drop out of college, right? I'm gonna understand from them how, like, are you ready to actually grind and hustle? A lot of people don't know this. They think I went from like high school to college to an engineer. I have worked every job you can think of. In high school, when I was 14, I was working construction. My friend's dad had a construction company. He would pick us up. No, I would sleep over my friend's house in the like on the weekends, and on Friday. And for 3 days, we're going straight to work. We wake up at 6 a.m. and we're not back home until 6 p.m. The second I reach the house, I shower and I'm gone. Like, you're too tired to even eat dinner, right? But I was working construction, concrete. I was pushing wheelbarrows full of concrete at the age of 14, 15. My mom's talking to me and she's like, you need to focus on school. But I've always had that drive to hustle. I've always been a bag chaser, a money maker, whatever you want to call it. I've always been the guy who's grinding. When I was in school, I was selling gum. I was selling snacks in school. I was always hustling left and right. So I would not encourage somebody who's like asking me to drop out. I would not tell them, yeah, drop out just because I did it. You have to like assess who you're talking to. Are you some lazy kid who's never done anything? Like in addition to construction, I worked in fast food. I've worked in Chick-fil-A. I've worked in pizza. What's it called? Domino's. I've made pizzas. I've done any job you can think of. I've worked in Amazon and warehouses. I've been driving forklifts. I've done it all. That's why I'm not scared to go to Kenya. And if my plans don't go as I planned, I'm not scared to come back. I know how to work. I'm not scared to come here. If I have to get a construction job, I'll do it. I'm somebody who, like, I'll touch dirt. Like, if I have to touch dirt to get back on my feet, I'm gonna touch the dirt, okay? If I have to go and get some, what's it called, some regular mediocre job or go back into an office, I'm okay doing that because I know who I am. I know my grind. I know my drive. I know my hustle. So this is to wrap it up. On this path going back to Kenya, even when I posted the first video, I quit my job, I plan to go back to Kenya. There's a couple comments under there where people are like, dude, you're going to be right back in the U.S. Bro, you're going to fail. This dude thinks, I'm telling you, along my whole journey, there's always going to be somebody in your ear yapping. Somebody telling you, bro, don't do this and the other. Everyone thinks they know what's best for you. Everyone thinks they know what you should do. There's people right now who were telling me you should set up something in the U.S. first. Not my viewers. I'm talking about like people in my actual life. You should set up something in the U.S. first. Why? Whose life is this? Are you the one who's gonna be paying for whatever I set up in the U.S.? Are you the one who's gonna handle whatever? Like, is this your life? Why? Like, you gotta sometimes assess why somebody's telling you something. Are you telling me this because you're trying to help me on my path, or because you only know what you know and you think that that's what's best for me without knowing what I want? You don't know what I care for. You don't know what my goals are. So overall, I encourage people to follow their own path, but be ready to hustle. Follow your own path. Be ready for the grind. Be ready to fall. Be ready to get back up. Be ready for people to tell you, I told you so. There's people who are watching this who want to watch the whole journey just so in the end they could be like, I told you so. So what? So what? So what? Man, I'm getting hyped. I'm getting hyped because this drives me. It puts that fire under me. Like, I talked about maturity. Maturity now is not to prove in somebody's face and say, I told you so. Even the people who I lost friends along the whole way, I don't care to tell them I told you so. Even if I go to Kenya and I accomplish what I want to accomplish, I don't care to tell anyone I told you so. It's for me. It's for me. But maturity comes when you realize you're doing it for you. You're doing it to prove yourself right. That right there. I'm doing it to prove myself right. Not to prove you wrong, not to prove this person wrong, to prove me right. But along the way, that takes maturity, and you got to give people grace. If I was still in my immature mindset back then, I would think, oh, you're hating. You don't want what's best for me. No, giving people grace is understanding that sometimes people only think in what they know. Sometimes people who give you advice, they can only give you advice in what they understand, what they think they can do, how they view life. You have to give people grace. You have to give, like, when somebody's trying to generally give you some advice that's not on your path, you can't hate everyone and be like, oh, you just want me to fail. You don't want to see me succeed. No, you got to give people grace, because at the end of the day, They know only what they know. They don't know what you know. They didn't know what I knew about crypto. They didn't know what I knew about what I wanted to do. They didn't know that I could get into tech before my class graduates, right? But overall, I'm gonna wrap this video up right there with a bow. I'm on this path. This is my path. If you're interested in the journey, stick along. But if you're watching just to be like, oh, I told you so, or just to sprinkle some doubt, man, stick along as well. Stick along as well. Because as much as I've matured, I still got Jimmy in me. Jimmy's the driving force, right? Jimmy's the one who puts the foot on the gas. I still got that Jimmy in me. And that Jimmy in me is like, all right, that's what you think? Bet. Just stick along for the journey. But that's it. I'm gonna end that right there. Follow your own path. Don't listen to what people tell you. Don't care what people think. Don't care about people's opinion. If they're not walking the same steps as you, if they're not the ones who are gonna pay the price, if you're not paying my college debt, don't tell me to stay in college. Okay? If you're not the one, like, I'd rather regret my decision than someone else's. And that's it. I love you all. I hope this motivated y'all. And I'm gonna make sure to make those videos just for you guys to know that I'm not no fraud coming online trying to make up some lie. I love y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.